Looking back at 2025, I found few works to be as impactful and as difficult as Takopi's Original Sin, featuring a cast of characters navigating dire life situations without the means or experience to do so. Its source material was short, and the anime adaptation wisely opted for a non-standard series structure, 6 episodes of varying length to put the weekly breaks exactly where they would be most effective. A lot of the success of the story comes from this brevity, concentrating the story beats and character moments, and eschewing extra details that do not directly inform our understanding of the cast or the crises. The epilogue maintains this less is more approach, and even kicks it up a notch. It runs for all of 51 seconds, yet in that stretch, answers almost all the questions we might have about the fates and details of the other 3 main characters years after Takopi makes a final attempt to put a smile on Shizuka's face, thus creating a 3rd timeline. Hi, I'm Feta, and let's run through this epilogue together, noting all the things we learn as we appreciate its impressive storytelling efficiency. Right from the first wide shot of the characters, we know that we are in the future from where we left off before the credits, as Shizuka and Marina are grown and wearing high school uniforms. Shizuka's dog Chappie lounges nearby, and that tells us that this time around, Marina did not provoke an attack and get Chappie put down. Since that was the final straw triggering Shizuka's suicide attempt in the other timelines, we can presume that this Shizuka never tries to take her own life. While it's already implied by the 2 of them side by side and facing the same way, once their dialogue begins, we understand that these 2 are not enemies or antagonists to one another as we had seen in the past. Upon closer inspection, the 2 are wearing different uniforms and so attend different schools. In fact, the same schools they attended in the original version of year 2022. Hanging out together, then, implies that they are not just no longer enemies, but became friends after the last encounter and now meet up to maintain that friendship. There is also a critical reveal in what is not in the scene: Naoki. His mother's unrealistic expectations and lack of affirmation caused him to crave the feeling of being needed, of being relied upon, and in both previous timelines, this led to him engaging in an unhealthy, codependent relationship with the other 2. When last we saw him this time through, though, we witnessed him revealing to his classmates that he owns a PS4. These classmates want to make friends with him, and as they begin to leave the classroom, he'll take note of the always downtrodden Shizuka. There's a moment where he is tempted to become that shoulder she can lean on in yet another timeline, but a call from his potential new buddies pulls him away. The exaggerated slow motion of the 2 moving in opposite directions suggests some kind of watershed moment occurs. His absence in this epilogue sequence, then, likely means that he managed to make other friends, and parlayed that success into the future such that neither Shizuka or Marina ever come to rely on him, perhaps even know him. This is a good outcome for Naoki, and it's a good outcome for Shizuka and Marina. As to these girls' friendship, then, I'd hazard it has its roots in the 2 supporting one another during the years that we've missed. Each has a dysfunctional situation that few of their peers could relate to, and their dialogue fills that picture in. Marina talks about buying her mother some cakes because she's going to have a rough day, and Shizuka quips that said mother has it rough every day, calling her Marina-chan when she does so. We learn 3 things from this exchange: that Marina's mother is still an emotional wreck, that Marina still tries to take care of her as well as she can, or at least hasn't written her off, and of course that Marina and Shizuka are close enough to have talked about Marina's mother and the difficulties there. The familiar use of Marina-chan emphasizes that last point. Marina responds then by asking rhetorically whose fault it is that her mother will have a rough day. This implies that the relationship between Marina's father and Shizuka's mother continues. She then adds her own retort that her situation is better than Shizuka's parents', and she aims a half-hearted kick at Shizuka's heel that Shizuka dodges casually. The little kick Marina makes in retaliation to Shizuka's quip suggests to me that the Marina who turned her physical abuse outwards in the past, to Shizuka in one timeline and Takopi in the other, is, well, she's still in there, but in a more subdued way. The trauma and its expression remain, but she has progressed in a healthier way such that she isn't dealing real damage. Shizuka's dodge, too, has the feeling of routine, as though Marina's little acts of frustration are something that Shizuka has fielded many times before, and at this point is unbothered by them. Marina firing back that her situation is better than Shizuka's parents also means that the sharing of their home lives goes both ways, and further suggests that somewhere along the way, Shizuka discovered the truth about her father in some manner other than showing up because she thought he had Chappie. Shizuka then expresses a desire for eyeshadow, leading Marina to accuse her of not listening. In the original timeline where we saw Shizuka this age previously, it was expressed in universe that she was physically attractive. That older 2022 version of Shizuka obviously took more interest in her appearance than the young one we first met. And this epilogue exchange, where Marina accuses her of being preoccupied with something for her looks, suggests she again grew into someone who takes care of her appearance for this older version of herself. As self-care is sometimes difficult for those who are depressed, we could take this interest in grooming as a positive development. Certainly in isolation, there's nothing wrong with Shizuka wanting eyeshadow, but the fact that she also stressed her looks in the original timeline, and apparently is somewhat ignoring her friend in this one, may suggest a subtext that her focus on appearance borders on being problematic. I think this is meant as the companion to Marina's little kick, that each has some slightly unhealthy ways of expressing themselves owing to the abuse and neglect that they've endured. Marina was physically abused and so performs acts of microviolence, while Shizuka was neglected and so tries to earn the attention she didn't receive at home by emphasizing her attractiveness. I applaud this bittersweet nod to realism, for though we can tell these two are in a much better place than in previous timelines, the lasting impact of their damaging upbringing is not entirely erased. Events which make deep impressions linger on in the subconscious, influencing them now and into the future. And the same goes for the next thing the epilogue reveals. Shizuka draws attention to a bin of novelty pens, and they will simultaneously describe the familiar-looking item as a ballpoint pen of a rabbit from Saturn, before being confused as to the origin of the phrase. This of course describes one of Takopi's happy gadgets, and their indistinct recollection means that while they have forgotten Takopi for the most part, the small details remain in their memories, disconnected from context. The implication seems to be that many other such orphaned memories float around in their minds, and perhaps they help account for the girl's more positive trajectory this time around. Certainly, the unexpected bonding over one such memory was the initial spark we saw that led to this new future. Lastly, it's only with their simultaneous recall of the ballpoint pen that we get a good look at their faces, and there we learn that Marina has the same scar she received in the original timeline. Her mother is indeed still abusive, and Marina likely still suffered the embarrassment and social consequence of having a marred face as a teenage girl. To me, this is a key detail to let us know that nothing about the girl's circumstances changed. Their parents all behaved in the same ways as before, and I think we can assume the same goes for Naoki's home life. They don't magically have happier, less abusive childhoods. The only difference is in how the three children Takopi influenced have chosen to confront and process that abuse, and the improvement began with making friends. Naoki with whoever he befriended, such that neither girl relies on him, and these two with one another. There's a final bit that isn't really a reveal, where we'll cut away to the patch of land with the pipes where Shizuka and Marina each met Takopi in the respective timelines. Both the wide and close shots emphasize cherry blossoms falling. Cherry blossoms are often a symbol of change, portrayed at the beginning or end of important life events, but they are also a symbol of the ephemeral, of things which are fleeting and temporary. This could describe their time with Takopi, and perhaps even the indistinct memories which remain within them, but it also applies to their situations, their dysfunctional or hostile home lives. Takopi hoped for them to all reach adulthood together, and this glimpse of them much healed and in high school puts them very close to fulfilling that wish. They still have flaws and scars as mentioned, and childhood trauma is not easily shaken off. But as adults, they will be free of their home lives to work on these things and try to become the people they want to be. They just needed to survive their childhood to make it there. One last thought then. I think the choice of the ballpoint pen as the gadget they remember in the scene is a poignant one. It was especially pointless and played no real role in the story. It embodies the futility of happy gadgets and their purpose. It reminds us that all of Takopi's attempts to make them happy failed to fix anything at all. For it is not possible for someone on the outside to unilaterally heal what is on someone's inside. And yet, our happy and aliens' antics and the vestiges of their memory gave these girls just enough common ground to start the process on their own. I think it's impressive how thoroughly this short epilogue communicates their improved but not perfect situations, with this tiny reminder of the role that Takopi played. It's an ending that seems to say, no one can save you except you, but even a tiny bit of outside help can make all the difference in the universe.